La 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 la. Lily Dawson refuses to be categorized. The podcast. All right, my loves. I thought I would give you a bit of an update about my latest 21-day challenge. All about raising readers, kind of doing a kids reading intensive. You can listen to all about how it's working in the podcast I just released, number 114. That'll be fun. And it's funny, like I'm 5 days in and I've kind of been putting off writing this log. I started thinking that it needed to be like super detailed and brilliant for some reason. Ew. Perfectionism. Gross. No thank you. So, like, don't mind me as I just write my shitty first draft, my tiny compilation of notes thus far, and then I'll be able to carry on and be more creative and productive once I get over this, perfectionist blight on my creative soul. So, in terms of my daily habits, we have been doing three non negotiables every day. 20 minutes plus of reading time, listening to my youngest read while my eldest reads by herself. 20 minutes of me reading to them, at least, and a lesson from Reading Eggs for my youngest and Reading Express for my eldest. If you're not aware, Reading Eggs is a very popular kind of like online literacy program here in Australia produced by the ABC. And those are the ones, it's like, I would say it's probably like the most popular in Australia, I'd say. Yeah, I would go that. I'll put that forward. Anyway, doing those three daily habits has really been working well. And what's been working well, especially, is to make them a non negotiable. And if I don't, they'll just never get done. So, for example, last night I was tired and overstimulated, and they'd already done their Reading Eggs lesson, but we still had reading time and my reading time to them as well. And part of me was like, ugh, I just couldn't be bothered. But then I thought, no, it's a non negotiable, Leonie. And so my youngest daughter ended up reading to my husband while I was sitting with them and working away on my laptop while she was reading it to her dad. And then my big kid was reading by herself, and then she was like, Dad, can I read to you as well? And so once my youngest had finished, my big kid read to us from Kiki's delivery service, which is really cute. So that was really nice. We all listened to her read. And then my eldest wanted my youngest to read to her, so she was doing readers, like they were reading back and forth to each other. And then my youngest still wanted to read to me as well. So she'd gone through three people by that point, but she still wanted to read. And it was just nice. I feel like having this extra focus on reading time has kind of made them more, I don't know, insatiable for it and more willing to do it. It's interesting. I've also noticed that by putting more of a focus on reading time, it ends up having a cascade effect because they start reading, they get obsessed, and then they just like keep on reading past, my usual, like the reading time that I've set for them. And so my eldest kid ended up finishing 8 chapter books this week, and she sometimes goes through things, but I don't think she's ever read 8 chapter books in 1 week. And I'm not sure, I'm not expecting for her to keep up at that pace, but clearly by having, just 20 minutes a day, like she's getting dragged into, kind of sucked into these books and then wants to finish them of her own accord, which is really cool. So, yay, I'm going to count this as a fucking gold star win already. More things. I read a book that called Raising Readers by Megan Daly, and it was one of you beautiful people who wrote in about Megan Daly's blog, which is childrensbooksdaily.com, and she is a teacher librarian here in Australia. I've got a bunch of notes from that, and it helped build kind of like a useful framework in my head of how to approach reading. And in raising readers, like one tiny note, I will do like more of a post about this book, I think. But Megan talks about her shared read aloud books that she reads to her daughters, and they each get to take a turn in choosing their next read, including her. So her first daughter gets to choose a book and they read that one. The second daughter gets to choose a book and then they read that one. And then she gets to choose a book and then they read that one. So I can't wait to get to choose a read as well, because usually I just let them choose and then they kind of argue sometimes over who gets to choose next. And now I get to choose as well. So I've already ordered the famous 5 series by Enid Blyton for my next shared read aloud, because it was one of my favorites when I was a kid, and I'm really excited about introducing that to my kids. And we also found another brilliant book. So me and my kids absolutely loved Lauren Child's illustrated version of Pippi Longstocking. Lauren Child is the creator of Charlie and Lola. That's probably what she's most well known for, but I absolutely love her illustrations, and so do my kids. In fact, I remember finding a Lauren Child book, I think it was before I even had kids, and I was so enamored with the richness of her illustrations that I just couldn't wait to have kids to share it with. So they loved the Pippi Longstocking version, so did I. And then we were at Berkelo Book Barn in Yamundi, and we came upon the Lauren Child illustrated version of Mary Poppins. Emma fucking God. It is a beautiful, hard copy version. So all 3 of us were like, yes! And we haven't read the Mary Poppins book together. We've watched the movie, but we haven't read the book before, so I can't believe that we get to do it with the Lauren Child version. Amazing. So I have some of those hippie mum baskets, the ones I'm talking about, that are made out of, they've got a handle. I call them the Steiner mum basket. If you're in America, the Waldorf Waldorf mum basket. How all the hippie parents have the baskets. So I still have those from when I was a Steiner mum. But they're awesome because you can just put fucking anything in them. So that I've made one into our next chapter book reads, and my eldest kid has got a stack of graphic novels that I've ordered her as well, that is kind of in her to read pile, and her bookcase in her bedroom is already chock-a-block. So I've created a to read basket for her as well. So we've got 2 book baskets going. I also, when I was going through our bookcase to kind of clean it up and get a bit inspired, I uncovered a book that we had called 101 Kids Books to Read Before You Grow Up. We were going through it quite fastidiously when we were homeschooling, and we really loved the recommendations. And there's also a spot where you write in how many stars for each book at the bottom of each page, and what you liked most about it. So me and the girls used to love doing that, and we read through a big stack of them. But now, because I don't know, it's probably been 3-4 years since we bought it and started going through it. Now my kids are in kind of an older age bracket, so I can start reading them some of the older books out of that. So the kids have gone through there and highlighted the next books they want to do from there as well, which would be super cool. Another thing. So a little while ago, I went on a stalk through abebooks.com, abebooks.com, in order to find some out-of-print books. So there is this illustrator called Jenny Maizels, Maizel, and she does these amazingly illustrated and handwritten pop-up books on non-fiction topics like grammar and punctuation and science and music. And let me tell you, it was worth paying the whatever I did for them. I think it was $30 for quite second-hand books, because they were printed 20 years ago, but they still look absolutely phenomenal, and my kids fawn over them. The Great Grammar Book, what the fuck? How can anyone make that interesting? Jenny Maizels can. So I tried to get as many of those, and I just saw as well she's got a pop-up body book that's just come out, so you can buy it brand new for $20 instead of a 20-year-old version. Anyway, if you've got kids, I really recommend Jenny Maizel's pop-up books if you can find any of them, because they are amazing and brilliant, and I don't understand why they're not everywhere. Oh, and one last final thing of note for this reading challenge log is we have just been popped back into a 3-day lockdown here to contain a COVID outbreak. Or, I'm trying to reframe it. We're just having a 3-day reading staycation. So we have books. I already have baking supplies. Let's do this. We've got this. All right, I did it. I wrote the first log. Onwards, my friends. And of course, if you've got any recommendations for kids' books or books about encouraging kids' readings, please email them, support@leoniedawson.com. I would absolutely love to hear them. Oh, and final thing, it is the last day to enroll in my brand new course, Marketing Without Social Media. So leoniedawson.com/marketing. Go check that out. All right, we've got this. I love you all. Bye.